Well, some of the biggest names in Democratic politics will be in downtown Omaha tonight. They're speaking at the Ben Nelson Gala, a fundraiser for the Democratic Party. Nelson is a former Nebraska governor and former U.S. senator. Among the speakers, former President Biden. First Alert 6, Brian Mastery is at the Hilton Omaha downtown right now. Hey, Brian, how's it going?
Good afternoon, Jacqueline. Of course, that is the big name, former President Biden. He'll be speaking tonight here. It's part of a fundraiser for the Nebraska Democratic Party, and it is a rare public appearance since Biden dropped out of the race in the 2024 presidential campaign. Recently, the 82-year-old, in fact, it was last month, he completed radiation therapy for a prostate cancer. So a lot of people are interested to see how he's doing after all of that. Now, the former president is expected to speak, for about 15 minutes, I'm told, maybe around 8:15 or so. Sometimes these things tend to drag on. Plus, some folks with the shutdown weren't sure when their flights would get into town. So you have that to keep in mind as well. Okay, this room that we're in at the Hilton Omaha, about 620 people will be packed into here. An overflow room has another 200. And the Democrats, they are energized, especially after those wins for governor of Virginia and New Jersey just a couple of days ago. They believe that it is a sign of things to come. Now, remember, Nebraska, clearly it's a red state, but Omaha is purple. Recently, it had the mayor's race flip to a Democrat after 12 years of Republican leadership. Don Bacon's not running for a re-election, so possibility that Democrats could control that spot for the first time since 2017. We'll have all of it for you, and we'll carry President Biden's speech live at firstalerts6.com. Jacqueline, back to you.
All right, Brian, thank you. An exciting night for the Democrats, that's for sure.